The Beginnings. Story 9. God ends the flood. Taken from Genesis chapter 8, verses 1 through 22. As this story begins, Noah and his family have survived the devastation of the flood. And although they and the animals in the ark are safe, the violence of the flood must have been terrifying to experience. But along with the fear was the sadness of the loss of everyone and everything they had ever known. It is easy to lose sight of what this time must have really been like for Noah and his family, as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks to months. But God was quietly at work, restoring his creation. Imagine the sound and the sensation when the ark finally came to a grinding halt on the side of the mountain. Imagine how different this new world must have looked compared to their world before the flood. Noah and his family and the animals spent a little more than a year living in the ark. Listen to how this story begins.
Then God acted in favor of Noah and all the animals that were with him in the ark. And God caused a wind to blow over the earth, and the waters started to go down. Also the fountains of the deep and the floodgates of the sky were closed. And the rain from the sky was held back, and the water continued to go down. So at the end of the 150 days, the water began to decrease. Then on the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark settled down on the mountains of Ararat, and the water continued to go down. And on the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains could be seen. After another 40 days, Noah opened the window in the ark that he had made, and sent out a raven. The raven flew back and forth until the water was dried up off the earth. Noah also sent out a dove to see if the water had decreased off the surface of the ground. But the dove could not find a place to set down her feet, because the ground was still covered with water. So she returned to Noah at the ark. And Noah reached out his hand and pulled her into him, into the ark. And Noah waited another 7 days, and then sent out the dove again. The dove came in to Noah in the evening, and in her beak was a newly plucked off olive leaf. So Noah knew the water was gone from the earth. Noah waited 7 days more, and then sent out the dove again. But this time she did not return to him ever again. So it came about that in the 601st year of Noah's life, that on the first day of the first month, the waters of the flood were dried up from off the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and indeed, the surface of the ground was dry. And by the 27th day of the 2nd month, the ground was completely dry. Then God said to Noah, "Go out from the ark, you and your wife, your sons and their wives who are with you. Bring out with you every living thing that is with you, all that is flesh, including the birds, the cattle, and every crawling animal that moves along the ground, so that they can reproduce themselves abundantly on the earth, produce a lot of offspring, and increase themselves on the earth." So Noah went out with his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives. All came with Noah, every animal, everything that crawls, and every bird, and whatever moves on the earth, each according to their families, went out of the ark. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, And he selected from every kind of clean animal and every clean bird, and presented them as burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a pleasing aroma. And the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground because of what man does, because the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I ever again strike every living creature as I just did. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and winter and summer, and day and night shall never cease.
The Beginnings. Story 9. God ends the flood. Taken from Genesis chapter 8, verses 1 through 22.